Hello, everyone. This was a good week of chapters, with each of the chapters showing the importance of having allies, particularly strong ones, and the effects of not having strong allies. So, we're going to start off with One Piece, chapter 1041, and this was a pretty great chapter, having so many different events unfold here. From Momo growing even more cowardly and questioning Oden in his decision to open up Wano, to basically everyone trying to survive the collapse of Onigashima, as the island is soon just going to crumble, as well as Komurasaki finally revealing her true identity to Orochi, and seemingly she is going to get the final blow, and the winner is going to be decided with this last bit of fighting here with Luffy and Kaido. So the chapter as a whole was very interesting, just between all of these moving parts, with Momo now deciding to question everything he's ever known simply because he read Oden's journal, but Oden got rid of the last page, meaning that Momo and Yamato do not know what is at Raftel. This leads a huge issue of faith for Momo, as now Momo does not want to open up the country of Wano. This I could see having a huge impact on the later war for Raftel, but that's just me theorizing as to Momo's cowardly nature not ending up working out, unlike with Usopp, who, despite being cowardly, always comes in when he's needed. Momo will be the opposite in what I predict. Orochi finally being killed for the third time because Komurasaki was able to counter his devil fruit and crush him in a building, got lucky on that one. But her getting the final blow is rather poetic and a nice way to actually finish off Orochi. Everyone got a piece of Orochi, which I thought was actually well done, and Komurasaki getting the last one is just very fitting, and the one that finally kills him, as so many of the other alliance members continue to try to survive the events that are going on, from Usopp running with Kiku and Kinemon to try to get help, Nami telling Zeus that Nami's the most important one after Zeus is upset seeing Big Mom get basically destroyed, and the rest of their allies trying to run away. Raizo meeting Jinbei, but Raizo mentioning that they have to have more preparations or that they are complete, meaning something, but I'm not exactly sure what the preparations are for, which is what the great mystery will be for the next few chapters, which is fun. And Frankie does in fact save Zoro, so for now it looks like all the allies will probably end up meeting in one place before the island completely crumbles. Law and Kid are basically out of energy, and they will not be helping Luffy, as Luffy and Kaido are the last battle, because Izo was able to kill one of the CP0 agents while the other one survived. Izo is more or less dead now because of the CP0 agents. However, the one gets a call from the Gorosei to kill Luffy, and he's pissed because he has no plans on going up there, but now has to. But I noticed that Drake wakes up, and it looks like Drake is probably going to take out that CP0 agent while getting himself killed in the process, most likely to save Luffy. As Luffy goes one-on-one with Kaido in Gear 4th Snake Man, which is now proving to be his most powerful form, as he's using this one to take on Kaido as his last ditch, no more Gear 4th. This is the final bit of their fight after Kaido remembers the first meeting Big Mom and him had, which was actually a rather fun interaction of them meeting and Big Mom being an actual interesting character, as she was nice to Kaido. So their backstory is going to be excellent if we get it. It's looking more and more like the Wano arc is nearing its conclusion with this fight, though I could always see it swinging in some unseen way, but it looks like we're nearing its end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter an A. It was very good seeing all of these different moving parts finally finishing, as every front on the battle is over, pretty much outside of Kaido. Kaido is the last person to be defeated, and it'll be interesting to see what his defeat brings. Is it that Luffy breaks him through the ceiling as well, finally collapsing the whole island? Or will it just be that he wins outright, but the island, I don't know. Maybe the island doesn't collapse, and I'm just assuming here. No matter what, Kaido will be beaten down within the next few chapters, though I can only imagine how it ends. Now we're on to Undead Unluck, chapter 100, and this was a good chapter, as Andy saves the girl from the last chapter and get some information out of her as he continues to save her from different types of smaller detachments from the main body of them. He learns that Unruin is most likely in this castle, in this town, using whatever powers of vampirism as well as his weird smiling obsession to curse people into attacking others. That's how he keeps killing everyone with a smile. Andy finally found his prey, and so he begins to go there with the girl with him to help him. With that, they start traveling. He fights off a bunch of the smaller before getting a chance to see the rest of the that Unruin had acquired. There are quite a few of them, so Andy has to really run the gauntlet to get to Unruin, showing how powerful he is. He takes out one with one hit. So the next few chapters should be fairly interesting, seeing Andy take on several giant that he would not have been able to handle before, but can very much handle now. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good seeing Andy rescue another person and even lift them up quite a bit, and learning that Unruin is there, so Andy is about to rescue Fuko. Hopefully. The next few chapters should just be fight-heavy chapters, which isn't really a bad thing to have in this ending arc. The ending saga of Undead Unluck, to have it that Andy just has to put down a whole ton of Now we're on to Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 98, and this was a good chapter as it was the conclusion of the fight between Demina and Mash. Demina did in fact somehow survive the 60,000 punches, however he ultimately did lose, as we get some backstory for Demina, as Innocent Zero did not treat Demina very well, and because of that, Demina was warped. And as throughout his childhood, he only knew one thing, which was trying to earn and keep Innocent Zero's love. That meant being useful, and losing to Mash meant he was not useful. They continued to fight, and eventually Mash wins. Demina feels he is now basically worthless, but Mash extends a hand and explains that even if he and his old man fight, they always make up right after, and that's what Mash is doing with Demina, his brother. So they seemingly will now more quote-unquote become friends, which is a very Mash thing to do, as Innocent Zero seemingly has his new body and is ready to wage more battles with the forces of good here, as he's now stronger than he was before. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good seeing more of Demina's backstory and Mash win outright with no real issues at all. And now it'll be interesting to see what the next arc is going to be after we get a bunch of silly skits as Mash more or less wins, unless they're going to say he technically lost because Demina got the wand first. And then Mash has to go on the run because now he didn't become a divine visionary or something. The way this story can go now from here is very much a fun one to see which avenue they go, because there's no really wrong answer here. No matter what decision is made, there's much comedy to be plucked from either path, and so it'll be fun to see which one they go down. Now we're on to Sakamoto Days, chapter 60, and this was a good chapter, having it that the kid is now very much attached to Shin, which I thought was very funny, and Sakamoto is still helping the girl. The big villain of this arc, though, is the Order member that's there, the director. The kid doesn't like movies, ironically, because they're too long for him and he can't fast forward them, so he likes YouTube videos more. So he disses movies, which then has the director go nuts and try to kill him, and even show how powerful he is. He outmaneuvers Shin's foresight, not even just necessarily with his own physical speed, but genuinely changing his course because he knows Shin's reading his mind, showing how unbearably broken he is. Sakamoto directed her gunfire towards the director to save both the kid and Shin. The director then believes that the girl is his main character and decides to kill the pilot, nosediving the plane, and then sees that it's boring and blows a giant hole, or blows the plane in half. and now they're all free falling, which is going to be ridiculous as now they have to defeat the Order member because he stole all the bullets. So literally what's going to probably happen is the 5 of them, our 4 main characters of this arc, and the director will be the only ones that survive, as he more or less passes the 4 of them, and we'll continue to see their antics from here. So I wonder how they'll do that, because the director seems infinitely more powerful than anyone there, even Sakamoto, showing how strong these Order members are, as well as how they're going to get the bullets back and pass and survive a plane that's free falling, as many of them aren't that strong. So it'll actually be up to Sakamoto and Shin to a degree to try to save everyone. So this next arc should be pretty entertaining, all things considered. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was fun seeing the 4 new main characters here, well, 2 new ones, starting to really gel with each other. It'll be fun to see if the 2 new ones continue to grow closer with our existing main characters and end up joining again the cult of Sakamoto. But for now, we have an entire arc to get through, and for now, we have at least a major villain to overcome. So that was all of the major chapters. They were all very good, showing each one having allies, from One Piece having major allies win all of their fights to let Luffy focus on Kaido, to Undead showing Andy making new allies and having Clothy with him to take on all sorts of enemies, and the importance of having the trust in different allies. Mash making an ally in a former enemy and showing that if you have allies at your back, you can win despite the power difference, more or less, because Demina didn't have anyone. He was clearly alone when things got too rough for him, where Sakamoto never had that issue. And Sakamoto Days is continuing to show that gathering allies, both useful and unuseful, more or less the way to go. So now for everything else, we have My Hero, which is fine. Dr. Stone took a very unique and interesting turn, which to me extended the series for quite a while longer. I thought the series was over. Genuinely, I thought we didn't have much left, but now I could see this going on for another few years, another 5 probably. You can go for a long time, as now there's a huge new saga to be gained from all of this. That's what's sort of interesting about Dr. Stone, as the group of Y-Men leave. And except for one singular Y-Man device that will now help elevate humanity into an even higher sphere of technological advancement than their previous eras. So I'm excited to see where Dr. Stone goes from here, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it did just end with the optimistic note that they're going to be just fine. I'm curious to see what avenue it goes down. It's the most exciting one pretty much by that metric of where the paths of the story can go. I'm excited to see where it does go. Jujutsu Kaisen was fine. Yazakura family was pretty good, having it that the eldest brother of the family actually seemingly is going toe-to-toe with the other former heads of the Yazakura family, showing his loyalty and want to help his siblings instead of just simply protecting them. So I wonder if he'll end up winning or just surviving. I'm not sure. But for now, he had some pretty good moments here, more than usual. Then we had the Elusive Samurai, which was good. We had the former villain girl now looking like she's going to be an ally, meaning that we're going to have more allies for the main character to rally when the final battle against the ultimate villain of the story. Then we had Blue Box, which was fine. P times 6, which was very interesting, as Lucky is in fact planning to show his past to the audience through the power of the song, which should be a very interesting way of ruining the rest of his family. It should be very interesting to see the fallout of this decision. Ashimon returns, and it was good having the main characters fight their potential allies because their allies are dicks. And Doron was good. Continuing down a familiar story beat with unique characters could help the story as a whole, as now our 2 main characters have to prove themselves to their overpowered overseer, their quote-unquote parole officer. They have to prove themselves useful, and if not, then they're pretty much dead. It'll be interesting to see how this one differentiates itself despite knowing basically the familiar story beats it's going to go down. It has not veered from any of them thus far outside of its quirky characters. So that was all of the chapters. I thought they were all very good this week. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching.